The Raiders have had a dismal season, and that might actually be an understatement. Is Vegas the problem? Today on CityCast Las Vegas, we talk with Heidi Fang, sports journalist and host of the Raiders Nation podcast at the Review-Journal, about how things got so bad and if hope is on the horizon. It's Wednesday, February 4th. I'm Sonja Cho Swanson, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. All right, Heidi, as a quick reminder, I'm going to just say that probably half our audience doesn't really follow football. So I guess like in layman's terms, how would you describe this season for the Raiders?
Well, there's a lot of words I could look up in a thesaurus, but I'm going to go with abysmal. It's
Abysmal.
Was not a good season for the Raiders. They finished out 3 wins, 14 losses, just by any kind of a scale that you use. There's obviously no balance there in terms of finding some harmonious middle ground of, okay, there was some ups, there were some downs, but with everything, there certainly are, but I think that there's a desperate need at this point to get things on the right track with this team.
Yeah. Okay, just to kind of ask, because I think a lot of people want some talking points for like weekend Super Bowl parties, you know, like are the Raiders like the worst team in the Western Division or the Western
In the AFC
region?
West, yes, they were the worst team this year.
How did the Raiders get so bad?
I just think there's been a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of changes, a lot of different coaches. You have to remember, since they've been here in Las Vegas, since 2020 was the official move, right? That they have now had 5 head coaches for the team.
Oof.
So that's a short period of time to really develop any sort of consistency, to really develop any kind of culture, to really develop any kind of way that somebody who is their head coach can rein in this team. And I think a lot of what the mistake has been is that when the draft picks, they haven't panned out. And then let's say this person could be a good draft pick, right? Let's take, for instance, this year, they drafted Ashton Jeanty. And I'm just going to speak hypothetical now. Let's say Ashton Jeanty fits into one coach's offensive plan, but a different coach that comes in could have a completely different offensive plan. And while he's a wonderful player and a great running back, if you are not used properly in the offensive scheme, you're not going to have success. And I think we saw this year, there were a lot of games, for instance, where Ashton Jeanty, who came out of Boise State, was not used as well as he could have been in certain circumstances.
So each of these 5 head coaches have inherited almost like a different set of cards from previous coaches. And it kind of like lingers as you pass on to each of these 5 coaches, the different strategies or fragments of strategies, I guess, that are kind of trying to be pieced together, patched together. What's interesting that you mentioned all these 5 coaches, because now that they've had, 7 seasons in Vegas, none of those seasons have been like particularly stellar. So I'm just wondering, is Vegas part of the problem too?
No, I don't think it is. It's really just a matter of getting it right and having the right kind of confluence between one coach to the team, to the roster, to the ideologies of what the owner has and what the general manager can do in terms of scouting and bringing in players that are really going to be solid. Like there's, for instance, and every NFL team does this, but during game weeks, these guys are locked in to, maybe 12 hours a day of their life, and depending on how much more they want to commit to it, of being in their facility. So one person that I had asked when they came here to this team, and I said, "What have you thought of Las Vegas?" He said, "I don't know. I haven't seen it." So that's sometimes what happens during the season. Outside the season is a different story. They can, either go home if, like, for instance, I know one of the running backs, he's from down south. He goes back to the South when the season's over here. So he doesn't really live in Las Vegas. He spends his time back home with his family. And that's the case with a lot of these guys that aren't truly Vegas grown. There is one player that is the first player that was actually a Vegas native.
Who's that?
Jonah Laulu. He came out of Centennial High School. So,
oh my gosh, no way. Okay.
And then he's made it.
Got one Vegas born. Great.
So he loves it because he has his family here. He tells all the guys where to go to eat, and he's got it all on lockdown.
That's great.
He's a wonderful guy.
That. I feel like if you spend your summers in Vegas, that's the mark of a true Vegas local. Just putting that out there. If you can survive,
Yeah.
I'd say at least 3 consecutive summers in Vegas.
Oof.
That gives you the Vegas local cred for sure. I wonder if there's an interesting twist here. You did mention that the ownership, Mark Davis, did bring, the Raiders to the Allegiant Stadium, this brand new fancy stadium. And I think that's been actually kind of good for the team in some ways. Things aren't all bad. I'm reading up that they're actually now the 9th most valuable team in the league. Mm-hmm. They've more than doubled their value since moving to Vegas in 2020. So first of all, I guess the first question is, how did that happen? And second of all, is there an incentive for an owner like Mark Davis to try to improve the team if he's still making money hand over fist?
Oh, there's always incentive, isn't there?
I guess even more money is the incentive, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
But, now there's also the part owners of the team, which include Tom Brady, multiple time Super Bowl champion. And he's really dove in on really making this team not just known here in this city, but internationally, and how he goes out on national TV and talking all about, the other teams and gleaning from those teams, I would think, into how he might best organize a structure for a winning team. So there's a lot of different things that have come into play now with the Raiders, multiple part owners. There's different people involved with the brass. And I think to your question of how, you can always improve it, I think a lot of these people, came to the Raiders looking to build this franchise even bigger. I mean, when 2017, and I was just thinking about this today because it was announced recently that the Raiders may do an international game next year. That
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, how much the NFL has expanded. Last year they had Ireland and Munich games, and Spain and Australia are in the future this coming season, as well as France and Mexico City. And so the point I was making there was, when you see a team that has this potential to go and make new fans of a sport that have never seen it before, that's really truly something exciting to be a part of. And so I think when you think about the future of this team and how international expansion can bring in so much more and different viewers, and how it might be
fan
embraced.
base. That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting.
Yeah. And with Vegas being such an international tourist destination too, I can only imagine the Raiders kind of doing this publicity tour in a way can kind of help bring some of that tourist fan base back to the city, which is fascinating.
And that's, when you think about Allegiant, that's what the beauty of having this stadium in Vegas is, probably to the Raiders players' detriment, is that so many fans come from out of town that you see half the stadium, for instance, on a Broncos game, is covered in orange. It's like, and
right.
It makes it kind of an interesting dynamic for this team to have to figure out, the Raiders, I mean, how to play on a home field that isn't necessarily always a home field advantage when you play.
I've been hearing about some interesting developments on the horizon. Raiders are going to get the number 1 draft pick, so there's a new star quarterback kind of poised to come in. And it looks like the Seahawks' current coach, who is leading them to the Super Bowl this weekend, is also likely the Raiders' next head coach. Really interesting hires coming in. So are the pieces in place for the Raiders to finally turn things around next season?
I know I've said this on different podcasts, on different times when they've hired new coaches. I didn't have the same feeling with Pete Carroll as I do with the possibility of Clint Kubiak coming in. I like the standard, even though he's been a guy, I want to say it's been 6 teams that he has been on in the past 6 years.
Clint Kubiak has been
he's been around.
Coming in from the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been with 6 different teams in different positions, but him coming into the Raiders, I think, and this is something I plan to ask when we get the opportunity, is how do you bring that stability to this team, one that's seen constant turnover? Every year I have this memory that I can look at a number, look at a face, and I remember who you are, what number you wear, your first and last name, what school you went to. It's just one of my It's the way it works.
Useful for sports journalism, honestly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's how my head works. So now when I see, let's say, take the number 24, I can go through like 12 different names at least that I've seen wear that. It's like one of those things that you go, okay, how do you handle the stability of this team and make it so that there is a core that exists that you cannot just look at as we're in a win now phase, is what I thought with Pete Carroll, versus are we in a phase where this is going to be a solid core for this team upon which to build a future of a team that can get to the Super Bowl. And that's something obviously he's going to know what it takes to get there. I think he brings an offensive plan that will suit what he wants to build there, and that this team will finally start building. I think a lot of the times it's been patchwork. Oh, this can right here, we need a cornerback.
Band-Aid fixes.
Yeah. Lay the foundation. And that's something I think that Kubiak can do.
Okay. All right. Well, Vegas locals can be a little more hopeful. Do you think that the Raiders will ever be as locally beloved as the Golden Knights?
Ooh, tough question.
Yeah.
Ooh, it is different, right? I mean, we're looking at the Oakland A's coming here in a couple of years. We have the Raiders here.
Another transplant.
Yeah. But the Golden Knights were a team built here, and that Vegas just completely embraced, like, no questions asked. It was just an automatic following. I mean, I don't go to any sporting event now without hearing half of the crowd shout "Knights" during the national anthem. It happens.
Seriously, even
everywhere.
during a football game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Football, UNLV basketball, Lady Rebels, you name it. I've been to all of them. And it's funny.
Which, by the way, if any of our listeners don't know, I really hope you know this, but like during a Vegas Golden Knights hockey game, when they sing the national anthem, they sing all through the night, and everyone else yells Knights instead of night. Yeah.
There was some game I was at, and there were people on the road. It was on the road, not here. And it was gosh, I can't remember what game it was. I go to a lot, but there was, and there was a group that yelled it in the back at an away game, and everyone turns around like, what was that? It was so tremendous.
Yeah, a little homegrown flavor right there. I love it. All right, so we'll see. We'll have to see about the Raiders. I do wonder though, like if there's a sense of stability and longevity, because I also kind of feel like as Las Vegans, we see so many people like in the rotating door of the city that we kind of get like a little chip on our shoulder, right? Of like, are you really going to stay? Like, are you really going to make a home here? Are you really going to like claim us as your own? So maybe there's a little bit of that feeling with the Raiders and like the revolving door of coaches. So if we get a little bit more of that base of stability, maybe there's going to be a little bit more of a response from the local fan base. Just a thought, a hypothetical.
Well, one of the players that is a star there, Max Crosby, he did tattoo the Las Vegas Raiders on the back of his arm. And he actually has a foundation now that gives to at-risk youth and gives back to the community in various ways. And it's truly an amazing thing. So I think the more that you see a player of his caliber go out into the community, and he's like literally every different part of the city I have seen him go, to Southern Nevada Junior Achievement Programs, to the Boys and Girls Clubs in, the West Side, and to Henderson for a football clinic. And I think he did his football clinic in Summerlin too.
Oh, wow.
And anyhow, I think the more that you have that type of presence from a player that's been with the team for a long period of time, that's truly invested in the city in terms of how they give back and the presence that they have among the younger youth and the people. And he's done like Nevada Reading Week, which is coming up. But I think the more you'll get people to embrace what it is here. I mean, and the main thing about the Raiders, though, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, is just that their fan base is completely loyal. I have seen guys that still live in the Bay Area that come to games every single Sunday. I have seen members of the fan base bring an RV that they had the entire season at one of these RV parks so that they could go there before and have a place before the games and then go to the games. I mean, there is like some serious loyalty from this franchise. It was built back in 1960 that really has transcended. I have to give it up to those people that have stuck in through and through and through. And I've seen some travel as far out, like, well, anywhere. Like there's a good Solid view.
games.
Oh yeah. Like
Wow.
an away,
Wow.
like far away. Every single week. And time after time, year after year, I see them like Hollywood Raider, there's Raider Javi, there's obviously Gorilla Rella, there's Violator, there's a ton of guys. Go Power Raider.
These are like famous fans, kind of fans who have like basically developed their own character persona.
Yes.
That's amazing.
They have been through and through and through and through. And it's like, there's so many, and I feel bad that I can't name them all right now, but there's a good core of fans that are always, always going to be behind them, including the black hole, which is the sign that you see a lot of people say, oh, Heidi, the black hole died in Oakland. It did not. It has carried on here.
What is this? Wait, what is the
black hole? It's a group of fans that have called themselves the black hole, and they carry the sign. They have it. It's a certain section. In Oakland, it was a section by the end zone. And every time, not like a Lambeau leap, but when people scored there, they go up and, dab out the black hole and the fans. It's just a group of fans. And a lot of them still come to the games in Vegas and have their section.
Amazing. So we're looking for basically the homegrown version of whatever kind of fan base culture, like lore, tradition, characters.
There's tons.
Like we need that to happen organically here in Vegas.
Yes. There are some that we have an Elvis out at the stadium. Oh gosh, there's a lot in Vegas that have really tried to build their own thing. There's Silver and Black Panther. And does a lot of work here as well in the community. And he's just really well-loved a Raider fan. There's just so many.
Amazing. All right. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for this amazing conversation. I feel like I just learned so much about the Raiders. Maybe I'm on my way to becoming a Raiders fan now, thanks to you.
We have to think of a new persona for you to go to Raider games.
I know. What am I going to be? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll get some cool like Wonder Woman, Raiders
I have
crossover.
not seen one. I may have missed somebody. But that could be something.
Okay, I'm calling it. I called it. Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you so much.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, hey, go tell a friend. Rate the show, leave us a review, 5 stars please, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. Don't forget you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.